Aging is a privilege. Welcome to Vintage K, and today we have one of my favorite makeup artists, Emmy award-winning Raven.
Oh my God.
Yay!
Thank you for having me. One of
Oh
your
my god.
favorite.
Ah,
Well, thank
it
you.
is.
I love those
It
glasses,
and
by the way.
the thing is that when my Mormon father said if you put all the freaks and fags on an island, I found it. It's called Manhattan, and I stayed there for a long time, and I found like champagne, cocaine, and women's clothing, and that was the thing. The clothing did it for me. I was never like the shoes and the outfit were my thing. I couldn't do makeup, and so my eyelashes would slide off and
But you
all of
still
that.
felt fabulous because you were.
I did, and so I admire people that can do that, that can style a wig, that can do makeup. It's I have such a awe for that, and you do that, and you do beauty so well. That was nothing I could ever do. Like
Oh,
just
well, thank you.
pretty. You do
That,
pretty.
that the reason I even really, I mean, it wasn't the main reason I wanted to start doing drag. There were a lot of things that made me want to start doing it, but my love of makeup, the transformation aspect of it, you know, doing friends and family members makeup and then being like, well, I want to wear this. So I would find reasons to wear it. And then I started going to drag shows and I was like, I really want to do that. So it was just, it kind of all roads led to becoming a queen.
What was your favorite part? Like when you discovered it, like where's the like I always started maybe with the shoe and then the outfit came. But like the was it
Ooh.
the lip? Was it the eye? Was it the lash? Was it
Well,
the
to
brow?
be honest, my least favorite part of doing makeup is the lips. It's my least favorite part. I've never, and I think it was because maybe it stems from the fact that growing up I didn't have any, and so like I had to get them done. Or and then when I worked at a makeup counter for several years, that was the thing that a lot of people that came in to shop for makeup, that was the hardest part, was picking out a lipstick. And every time it would come to the lipstick part, it'd be like, oh God, here we go. Because it seems more, I feel like it's that one thing that a lot of people will put on just to, feel like they're, presenting themselves to the world. So they want it to be perfect without having to do eyeshadow and all this. So lips was always my least favorite part. My favorite part, of course, is doing the eyes. But when it came to getting into a look, because most of the times when I was getting in it in the very, very beginning, it was to go on stage at a club.
Yeah.
So I would always listen to music, and that would be the inspiration to go, okay, this is what I want the look to be. But then there are those times where I have a look that I want to do, and I'm like, okay, but what sound goes with this look? So it's one of the two. It kind of tugs in all different directions where I try to figure out what I'm doing. And still, there's
When
times where I'm
you
like,
bought
what am
your
I doing?
first, when you went, I remember this. It's so funny. When you went and got your first like bag of makeup. Mine was from Rite Aid, and it was like CoverGirl and a lip gloss and a lip liner. Didn't know how to use anything, and I I remember the smell of it, like of
Oh
the
yeah.
the powder from CoverGirl or whatever, and it still
Yep.
makes me happy. Like,
I remember the very first compact powder I ever got for myself, which was in high school. I bought it myself and it was CoverGirl. And I remember thinking how much it smelled like Noxzema. I was like, this powder, why does this powder smell like Noxzema? And then when I switched over to wearing like full pancake makeup and needing a big or loose powder, and I went to Cody, I said, "Oh, this smells like my grandma." I remember my grandma smelling like this, and then I understood why. And I remember that little cardboard box that she had, that she would do a little bit of powder. And so, and I remember the smell of Max Factor Pan Stick. Do you remember Max Factor Pan
yeah,
Stick?
yeah.
That was the first foundation I used, and the deepest tone they had was called Sun Tone, and it was like it was not that deep. It was, I mean, every picture from my very first. I would say a couple of years of doing drag. It was so washed out because that was all I could get my hands on. Then I switched over to using other things. But I remember the smell of the eyeshadow. I
Mhm.
remember the smell of mascara. I remember, the taste of lipstick because you're eating it
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I all of those things are very they evoke when I smell them, they evoke a very fun point in life where I kind of discovered a new facet of myself that I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Isn't it funny when that happens and you're like, "Oh, I'm settling in
Yeah,
my spirit." And I know
I'm
that like
becoming an adult.
yes. Yes, and just like how old were you when you came out?
I was 14.
Wow. Uh,
How old were you?
I was 22 and it was 19 or 21 and it was 1987.
Yeah, it was 93 when I came out. I didn't all growing up, I was effeminate. I
Yeah.
gravitated toward dolls. I gravitated toward playing with the girls and doing the girl things and um
Yep.
being more, you know, inside doing art than outside playing football. I was that kid. So I was made fun of my entire life. I heard people whispering, not about me, but just about this, thing called gay, which wasn't, it was, it was early 80s. It was the 80s. And you weren't, it was just, you could tell this wasn't considered correct. So I
And
always
when
stifled it.
you did it, it was the height of AIDS and everything, so it was just there was a stigma. So I think that
Yes.
coming out at that age is so courageous. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I didn't actually go and tell anyone.
Oh, okay.
I was always made fun of and I was always called, run down the list of words. I
I
was
was a
called that.
sissy, and then I understood what it like
Yeah.
later.
And I was chased off of camp at school. I would run home. I would try and hide. I would try, because there were these gangs of boys following me around, making fun of me.
Huh?
And so it took, uh, his name is Milton, and we were in first period science. And he looked over at me and he said, "Hey, Petrusian, my last name." He goes, "Are you gay?" And I looked at him and I went, "Yeah." And then I went, and he goes, "Oh, cool." And all I thought was, "Oh my god, I just fucking said yes." But I had never been asked. I had never been asked if I was gay. I was always called these names that I thought were bad. Now you can call me whatever you want. I really
Ooh,
couldn't care.
they still describe me, honey. They still describe me. They
Yeah,
just don't define
and
me.
I am that person.
Yeah.
If that's what that is, then yes, I am. But it wasn't until later that day when I went home with my friends Stephanie and Anessa, and Anessa was my junior high girlfriend. Um, I was now a freshman in high school. She was a year ahead of me, and we got off the bus and we were all at her house, of course, doing facials and tweezing brows. And I said, "So I'm gay," and they looked at me like, "Duh." Duh. We knew that. So I just it took someone asking me saying yeah, and then it clicking and going, okay, well, you just admitted to this, so now this is your thing. And once I actually said it, it took the power away from people, and people stopped making fun of me because it wasn't fun for them anymore. So people kind of backed off, and I had a bit more of a respect as far as being picked on or called names. You would still hear them, and people would still say things. But but shortly after that, the following year, um, this boy named Randy in my English class, we became boyfriends, and we were voted our senior graduating class. They do class favorites in our yearbook. We were the most memorable couple of our class because we were out. Everyone knew we were boyfriends. We were out. And that was 97. Up in Victorville, a tiny little town that you pass on your way to Vegas. That who would have thought? So it was not an easy time though. Coming out there were still there's still a lot of traumatic things that happen that are triggers,
Yeah.
but I've learned to deal with and kind of go, okay, well, I'm here now.
What would you say to the young little queen that's sitting there quietly, and hasn't told somebody or come out, or is trying on mom's dress in their room with the door locked? Like, what would you say to that person?
Do it when you want to. And you don't do it if you don't. If you feel like I don't need to say anything, I don't want to say anything, let people speculate. Don't have anyone feel, don't make it feel like you're doing it for anyone else but yourself. But once you do, the world, I mean, the everything opens up and you just, there's a, there's a huge weight lifted off your shoulder, but do it when it's right for you. Don't feel like you have to say something or you need to say something. It should be done when you feel it's appropriate.
I do. I believe you. I love that. It's your decision, because I
Yeah.
don't think I got the decision. Someone
No.
made it for me. Like, I was
Um,
called names and rocks thrown at me after school every day, and that kind of stuff. And then when I did come out, like my family, my friends, like no one was. I was kind of, it was the '80s, so it was kind of disowned. But I
yeah.
found my people,
Yeah.
and I found creativity, and so I went looking for it, and I'm grateful that I did, because I don't think I would be alive today without that, without gay people
No.
in drag.
That's why they tell you we as gay people get to choose our family. We get to luck, some of us are lucky enough to continue on with our own.
Correct.
And when I first did this, I had a born again Christian stepmother who was pulling at my dad.
Yeah.
And then I had a Mormon mother and stepfather. So I was not in a very, it wasn't ideal, to say the least. It was very hard. But now here we are. It's been 32 years since I've been out. So it's not changing. It's not a phase. It's not something that you can pray away, or the amount of things I went through while still in high school were pretty difficult. But you do find a tribe, you find your people, you find people that you can grab, and then later down the line you start to get rid of some of those people. You start to go, you know what, I this isn't working for me. And I've really, you mourn those losses. It's not like it's ever just a relief. There are people that I've had to stop talking to and had to walk away from, or discontinue any type of a relationship because it just wasn't working. And you need to do that for yourself, but you're going to mourn that loss, it regardless of who it is or what they're bringing into your life. So,
If you got stranded on an island and you could take one beauty product, what would you take? Like lip
okay,
gloss or
beauty product is a very wide net. Is this as far as like cosmetics go or skincare?
let's do one of each.
Because I would need a moisturizer.
There
I
you
need
go.
I need my Neutrogena hydrogel moisturizer 100%. I put it on every single day. As far as makeup goes, I would want a black eyeshadow because you can create a crease, you can also create a liner, you can fill in the you can do a, I would want, because you said just one,
Yeah.
I would say a black eyeshadow.
Uh,
And a La Femme black. That, like, did you ever use La Femme?
no.
That eyeshadow, I remember stumbling upon it before I started doing drag. My boyfriend and I were kind of what a couple of friends described us as glamour boys, where we would put together these outfits and go out in, like, wasn't really club kid. It wasn't really. it was glamour boy. It was like, stacked shoes with these, crazy
Really
things
pretty faces.
and
Really
painted.
pretty faces.
And so I remember going down to this beauty supply on my lunch break when I worked in the mall. This was before I worked for a cosmetic company, and I went to this beauty supply because they had these eyeshadows in these huge pans that were like $2, and I said, "Oh my gosh, give me one of each." And then when I started doing drag, I was using that as well, and then I found out that's what all the queens use is La Femme because it's so pigmented, and that black eyeshadow is black. I have found only a couple of black eyeshadows that are as deep and pigmented as that, but that one is their white is white, their black is black, and everything in between. But it would be a La Femme black eyeshadow
Oh,
if I
sweet.
could find it.
My favorite eyeshadow was Electric Eel by MAC.
Oh, I still have that in my makeup bag because it's
That
such a
was my
beautiful.
favorite.
Yeah. And when I remember when it came out, freaking out because I was like, oh, and this is before I did drag. It came out just before I started doing drag. I was like, I need this color. I
So
need it. And I remember buying it, and at the time it was like 12.50, I think it was for one of them. And just like I was like, look at this color, because blue is my favorite color in the world. Any shade of it I can get, I want. But that was just, I mean, it was electric. And I keep that in my makeup bag. Electric eel.
I,
Who knows? Maybe I'll take that with me.
yay! Where was your first drag performance you ever did?
My first drag performance I ever did was at VIP nightclub in Riverside, California. I remember I was back. We say backup dancer, and it's not that that's loose because we did practice choreography, but I was in my friends' shows, and that was my introduction into doing drag was being on stage with them. And then I thought I kind of want to do this myself. Like I was t- walking along that line of going full blown drag or just kind of teetering. So I remember it was May 10th, 2002. I entered my friend's amateur contest, and I said, "Okay, I'm doing this. I don't care. I'm doing it." And I wound up winning the contest, and I only wanted to do it the one time. I was like, I just want to do this, and everyone said, "You don't do it one time. You don't like. You end up it's." And if you're fiending for it the way you are, and the way your mind is working over it, it's going to be something you're going to do for a long time. And so I wound up winning. And then my friend said, okay, well, you got a monthly booking now. That's part of the prize. And then I just really started to get really invested in getting things and putting things together. And my thing always was wanting to make sure I did something different all the time. Bring something and take it to all the clubs, take it to all the venues.
What
But
was your
then when
first
you're back
song?
at it was called 4 a.m. by a group called Submarine off their album Skin Diving. And I heard that song when I worked at do you remember PacSun, Pacific Sunwear?
No.
It's like a surf and skate shop. I worked at it in the mall. And we had these, CDs that you would play over you know, the intercom, the speakers in the store. And this song came on called 4 a.m. by Submarine. And I was like, oh my God, this song was so sexy and so hot. And I remember the minute I got off work, going down to Best Buy, buying the CD. And I remember listening to this, of course, listening to that song first, but listening to the album in its entirety. And I've done almost every song off that album in the last 24 years that I've been doing drag. But that was what I was like, this is going to be my introduction to my drag persona. And everything was a little dark back then. It was like, very stark contacts, dark lips, dark hair, dark clothes. And then now it's whatever I'm feeling.
I think everyone starts with a smoky eye.
Well, it's the most forgiving, we'll say. And plus, I didn't have a makeup bag. I had very minimal. I had, it was an old toolbox, an actual toolbox that had a few things in it that I said, okay, I'm just going to make this work in some way. And I had collected things over the years from, the glamour boy phase of my life. But um, you start putting stuff on and realize, oh, it's just doing this. Well, here we are. Yeah.
Here we are. All right, so I'm going to do some quick questions.
Okay.
Um,
And you want me to answer them quickly because I have a tendency to go on a tangent.
Answer them quickly. Um,
Okay.
Favorite Snatch Game impression that you got to see? Who's your
Um,
favorite?
Jimbo on All Stars as Shirley Temple.
All right. Best makeup on Snatch Game.
Now I'm trying to think of all of the characters that have been done on Snatch Game. Oh my God. This you got me good. You stumped me because I'm trying to think of all of the characters. You know, can this go international?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I really loved Bag of Chips makeup as season
Where's
one,
Bag of Chips
season
from?
one, season one, UK, Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, all right.
Margaret Thatcher, yeah. Um, those contacts and those teeth, and then the way she did, yeah. I like when it's there's a little edge to it. Yeah, I would
Because
say that.
like, I saw you on it, and I saw some people, and they were in bald caps, and there were things, and I was like, wow, people are invested.
Yeah, and there,
So
when
good.
the very first Snatch Game was season two. We were
Was
the
it?
guinea pig. We were the first ones to do Snatch Games, so we didn't quite. I knew, oh, this is a loose take on Match Game, and I watched Match Game. I had grown up seeing that, so I knew what we were supposed to do. But at that point in the game, I had brought. They said bring in celebrity impersonations. I brought Cher and I brought Paris Hilton, and Cher was more of me just wearing a long wig with a Mackie-esque gown and just and feeling like oh, I'm giving a diva. I knew it wasn't an impersonation. So when we got there and they were asking now, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to do this. But to see where it's come now and the many different types of ways they've reinvented it, I like that they do that. It's fun.
Oh, I love it. I think it is so like when they pop up on my gay TikTok, I'm like, like it just there's a tickle. And it's like
Yeah.
people are being clever and people are being creative and people are being it's so good. It's the joy of drag I have. Like it's supposed to make your heart smile. Like
Yeah. And
and I
and I
do when
feel
I
there are
put it
too
on.
many people who are looking at drag now with these binoculars and these blinders, like trying to keep everyone on task for you're not allowed to wear this, you're not allowed to dress like that, you're not allowed to do this. It's like, what are you doing? You've taken all of it out. You're like most people when they're putting on drag and they're doing things that people are looking at thinking, oh, that's a little unsavory. They're not doing it to be derogatory or mean. So back up, have fun, have a laugh, enjoy what it is. I don't want to get started on this, but yeah,
It's the laughter that I love. It's like
yeah,
it's the beauty of playing dress up and painting and creating. It's like
yeah,
all us little gay kids, we needed that fantasy to get out of being beat up. Or like you know what I mean? We needed that or we would have never survived. And
no,
so it's so beautiful to see it in even where the world is today, like to see that and to have it pop up on my feed and just give me a little smile of my heart because it's like, it's cute. It's fun. I mean, you could say it's a man in a dress. Okay, but it's
and that's what
fun.
it is, and
I
that's what it is.
I think the world is a better place because of whoever put on that first dress. I thank you.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Hats
I
off to
do.
you. Wigs off to you.
Hats up, wigs off to you. Favorite guest judge? Who came on and you were just like, oh wow, in person they were just a little bit more.
I really love Adam Lambert as a guest judge
Okay.
because yes, he's been on a few times, but he's dialed in. He gets it. I mean, he's around queens enough. He is a queen, but he's very dialed in. I remember the very first time seeing him, it was on season 6. I think it was the premiere episode of season 6, maybe was it? Um, I just loved how direct, and it was not skirting around anything. It was, this is what I think, this is what it is, and he just, yeah. Adam Lambert's probably one of my favorite guest judges that has been on there.
Oh, I love that. Um, your top three queens, like as makeup artists that are on there, like where you saw their face and you're like, oh,
Well, I remember the first time I saw Jada Essence Hall, the winner of season 12,
okay.
12 or 13. I think it's 12, season 12. I remember when she walked out the very first day, it was a fashion show. When she came out, I was like, oh, okay. Because that's what I want to see. I want to look at someone where I have to look at what they're doing instead of, oh, I can see, a lot of people have it, but there are some of them where it's just brown, pink, white, and everything's kind of carved out. So her Silky, Nutmeg Ganache,
Hmm.
she's another one of mine. Like she's actually probably like, to see what she does when she's doing it. I've told it to her face. You are creating a mess. I just see a mess, and then when she's done, stunning, gorgeous. I like, uh, um, and oh, gosh, there are a
Last
lot.
one. The that you would give flowers to as a makeup artist and go, oh, that's clever, or that's
Trixie Mattel.
really, oh,
Yeah,
that's
because
fantastic.
what it's evolved to is still everything's there. The
Hmm.
blend is beautiful. I love how everything is cut out and it's not trying to, be anything other than it is. I am a fucking dude with a shit ton of makeup on, and it's done so beautifully.
Masterfully,
Yes,
masterfully.
yeah,
I saw her and I was like, oh, like that, and it's recognizable as someone's own. I like when someone like when
yeah.
you look and you go, oh, Trixie.
Well, and it's funny you say that because there are times where people send me pictures and I'm like, because I think it's me,
Yeah.
and then I realize, oh, no, that's not. Or I'll just there was a when back when I was on Facebook, I would get auto tagged in things that say, oh, someone posted a picture that might contain you. I'm like, that's not me. My favorite was when Cher's album came out, where she did all the ABBA covers, and she's facing this way, and then she's turned to the side. That picture of her with the black hair, I would get auto tagged in it saying that someone has posted a picture that may contain you. uh,
If you
but
had to sit down tomorrow and they told you you only get to watch one season and your TV's not working and you got to watch one season, what season would you watch? What do you
of
find the
RuPaul's
most
Drag Race,
entertaining? Yes.
I would watch season 1.
Uh,
I would watch season 1.
with that flashlight.
Yeah, I
I
loved
love
it.
that. I
I
love it.
remember I remember auditioning and not making it, and I thought, okay, whatever. And then watching it, I would go over to my friends every Tuesday because we didn't have Logo. We watched it on VH1. It would air Mondays on Logo, Tuesdays on VH1. And I remember going over to my friend's house and sitting there. We would make dinner, we would hang out and watching it and just being like, oh my God, look at this. Drag is on TV.
Yes.
Drag is on TV and it's being celebrated. And these are queens. And I knew a few of them from having worked, you know, and just thinking, oh my gosh, look at this. Because I remember being so obsessed with Project Runway and America's Next Top Model. And I remember thinking if they ever did something like this for drag queens, I would want to do it. And then seeing that, it was like, of course, I have to do this. I didn't make season one. I got to watch season one. I got to study season one, and I got to go in and do season two. So everything worked out perfectly, I think. But I would watch season one. If you said there's only one, because of the memory it evokes, the time, um, I would watch season one.
I'm right there with you. I think that changed the dynamic of so many things. Yes, let's give credit um, to Logo because they were the first
Yeah.
gay television channel. So
Mm-hmm.
that in itself was like, wow. And then Rue, like how magnificent that first season was, and just how joyful, and you knew you were watching something happen. Like the
And
beginning
something
of something.
celebratory, something
Ah,
that was celebrating a huge part of gay culture, a huge part of like, uh,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, the production company, the judges, for the most part, and the cast, gay, 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 gay,
yeah,
and they're putting this on television
yeah,
for the world to see.
yeah.
And I did not realize how big it was until I heard people talking about it out and about and go, oh, people are actually watching this show. I knew it was a hit. I knew it was a hit when I saw the very first season. I thought this is going to be huge. And then when I went back to film season, when I went to film season two, and I saw through the curtain when we were being walked by, and I saw the main stage, I said, oh, it's a hit.
Yeah.
It's not just we're going to see what they got a budget now. And I mean, here we are, just finished airing. When is this going to come out?
Probably in 2 weeks.
Okay, so here we are, season 18 airing, and All Stars, 11 coming out, Drag Race UK, Drag Race Down Under, like all of these things.
Uh,
It definitely shows, you know what? People love drag. And
and Rue, she has created something too. Like I want to,
Rue,
I love her.
Rue, I absolutely adore that human. There, when people say don't meet your idol, or it is true, because there are some that I've met that I've gone, oh, which but meeting Rue and then being in this capacity, one of the most, I absolutely love that bitch.
When I moved to New York, I someone said, "Do you want to go see a drag show?" And I was like, "Okay." And we went to the Pyramid, and Rue did Star Booty on a go-go box. There wasn't even a stage, I don't think, if I remember correctly. And she lip sync, and I was just mesmerized. I was
Yeah.
like, and then when I was a buyer at Patricia Field, she would come in and to the store or whatever, and just always so wonderfully kind. So I always just loved her. And then when
Yeah.
she did this, I was like, "Oh, I want to see what she's doing, you know?"
Mhm.
And you got to remember,
Yeah.
she was the supermodel of the world. She
That song came
shined a
out.
light on
Yeah.
that.
And it came out around the time I came out.
Oh wow.
And I remember, and I'll never forget the first time I saw Rue on TV in an interview, just thinking, oh, how glamorous. And the laugh, just the whole persona was, you could tell this is someone who is laughing at life, laughing at themselves, laughing at the absurdities. And then you finally meet that person, realize, oh yeah, you are absurd. that's why
And
that's
now
why
she's brought it to every country, every like.
Yeah, and has
I was
no plans
talking
on
to
stopping.
Bjork, and Bjork was like, "You should see the Philippines drag race," and I was like, "What? There's a Philippines drag race?" And she said,
Yeah,
"Yeah, there's a Asia drag race that, and the costumes and makeup are amazing." And I was like, "Oh
there's
wow."
Philippines, there's Thailand. I think those are the two. There might be an, as far as like of Asian countries. I think there's another one, but I know Philippines. Yeah, Philippines and Thailand are, and those queens,
That's what I heard.
they are.
That's what I
I
heard.
mean, not to extinguish anyone else's fire, but those queens are they're dialed in. It is, yeah.
It's game time.
Uh-huh.
I want to find it. I want to watch it. I'm intrigued. All right. Let's
Wow
do
Presents Plus.
huh?
Wow Presents Plus. You got to get Wow Presents Plus
Okay.
because
And
that they
that's
have
everything.
everything on there. Yep.
And that's where you and Raja are too, right?
Yes.
And how do you find for my 74 subscribers? How do
Uh-huh.
they find you and Raja on Wow?
So you go to Wow Presents Plus, you go to Fashion Photo Review, and we're the first ones. Well, we're the only ones. I mean, there are people who fill in for us from time to time, but we yeah they that yeah who would have thought that little show that we do would have
That
become
idea
what it
turned
is? Yeah,
into
because I remember them coming and asking me like, "Hey, we want you to do this," and I thought, "For what? Like, why me?" And they were like, "Well, because you've got a great sense of style, you do great drag, you have a good sense of fashion." I said, "But I don't really have the references." Like, they said, "You have more references than you know. You should do this." And so then they were like, "Who do you want to do it with you?" And I said, "Raja." And then we literally just thought we were sitting here just shooting the shit, making fun of ourselves and the show. And then it became this thing that here we are 12 years later,
they
13
love
years.
you, honey. Your lighting is so good. Your lighting is
Oh,
so good. They love you. I love drag. Like I have a joy for playing dress up. It's had it my whole life. And so to see you two, I wish the two of you could do the Rose Bowl and describe every float that goes by. Like I would love that. Like it
Maybe
brings
we'll do
me
that one time.
joy.
That would
Wouldn't
be
that be
hilarious.
funny? It's so
Yeah.
good.
You know,
It's like the two of you just bring like in that moment. I was like, oh, that's how I discovered you. It was like you popped up, and then I watched you enough that you were on my feed all the time. That it was
oh,
like, oh,
your algorithm.
yes, yes.
There's times where I think, can we get a little light over here? But yeah, speaking of lighting, I could use the ring light here.
It is so joyful to see the two of you, and you could tell there's a bond. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
love when we find that person to like be creative with. You know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
lot of us in the circus, and it's just fun. And it's just fun to
Yeah.
have. I love that. I love the camaraderie. I still think you should do the Rose Bowl. Um,
Okay.
wouldn't that be funny? Describing floats. um, who were you rooting for that didn't win all seasons?
Gosh, there are quite a few, but well, I of course
Give me a
I
couple.
Naomi Smalls,
Okay.
season 8.
Okay.
I'm absolutely that. I mean, that was someone who I helped send off to go compete. Like so Naomi Smalls.
Okay. Anyone else?
I mean, of course, I was rooting for Mayhem. Of course, I was rooting for Morgan McMichaels. Of course, I'm rooting for my friends, but for the most part, yeah, for the most part, they get it right.
That was wonderfully said. Wonderfully said.
No,
Um, Dave,
I've never really looked and been like, ugh,
yeah.
but I mean, of course, I was rooting for Nina Flowers,
Okay.
season 1.
I was
Yeah.
too. I was too. I saw the first two seasons I watched, and I was like, ah, you guys got the good lighting. You're where it all began.
Yep.
The production value when was amazing season two.
It definitely got a step up. And look at it now. LED screen backdrop and
So
yeah.
pretty,
Uh-huh.
so pretty, and like you see it and you like it shows up on my TikTok and you're like, oh, and it's the colors and the warmth and you know what's coming and it's just it's
And it's
so
a fantasy. When you watch it, you see, you watch there in the workroom, it's pink and orange and purple, and the stage is sparkly and black lacquer and lights everywhere. It is very appealing to look at and watch and listen to, and all of the things. Yeah.
Who do you think is the winner is? Best lip sync of your life or for your life?
I'm gonna mention again Silky on All Stars. Was it 6 or 7 when she came back and they had the where they could lip sync to come back into the thing, and she did Barbie Girl by herself, and she had painted half of herself to be one way, half of herself to be another way. And she did the entire, because the other person didn't come to lip sync against her. So she did it by herself, which was like this weird thing where it's like, okay, you're lip syncing by yourself, but you're doing a duet still. That was probably my favorite lip sync for your life.
Okay.
I also, you know what? I also really loved Latrice doing Natural Woman.
Ooh. I saw that on the gay TikTok.
not a lot of queens can do
Stand still. Stand still.
Exactly. And serve a
and give you chills. And just like a yeah. She's I think she's one of that pops up. I think she's one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's.
Like,
Everyone loves Latrice Royale. Everyone. If you do not love Latrice Royale, you have an issue. You have a deep-rooted issue.
Yeah.
And sort your shit out.
Yeah. What was the most clever drag performance on there? And another question, who had the first wig peel? I was amazed now everyone just keeps pulling off wigs, but who did the first wig reveal?
The first wig reveal was Roxy on season 5.
Okay.
It was her against Alyssa Edwards, and I whipped my hair back and forth. And it was a turning point in Drag Race history, because now it showed, oh, this bitch, she did a reveal because taking your wig off is not the greatest thing to do. But if you're going to do it and you have another one on there, that's okay, bitch. Yeah. Roxy's probably
and courageous, because a lot of things could have went wrong.
And they didn't. And she served. So, yeah, that was the very first one. Favorite drag performance?
I've seen that one, and it was so elegantly done. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roxy is a fierce queen. Roxy's probably one of my favorite queens to ever compete. There's another one, another queen that I was rooting for, season 5. I wanted Roxy to win. I just think she is a queen's queen. Like she is I look at her and think, this is drag excellent. This is everything about her to me is perfection.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is a I just love queens supporting queens. You know what I mean? Like I'm in that.
And I feel like she got a bad rap, and that is what it is. But
what happened? Are you allowed to talk about it?
Well, not, people watched it, people saw it. If you haven't, go back and watch. But you get there, you get in your feelings, you're seeing something, and you speak out, and people don't like when people are vocal. So, but I love Roxy Andrews.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I thought we were going to do 40 minutes. It's been an hour. Now I have to edit. But goodness. I know. I love it. It's
my long-windedness. I get very long-winded.
I love that, though. I feel like it's like you get on the phone with an old friend and you just don't stop. Yeah. And I just looked up and I was like, oh, bitch, you got to stop.
Well, then there are those other times where you're talking with someone and going, okay, when is this going to be over?
I'm glad you didn't feel like that. I am so glad you didn't feel like that.
No, I did not. I totally enjoyed doing it.
What a wonderful experience.
It took a while.
It took it, but this is like my favorite things to talk about creativity, gayness, and drag. You know,
Yeah.
that like playing dress up. Those are my favorite things to talk about. Hey, hey, you're gay. Aging is a privilege.